Haaland being missing today, I don't put that down to Haaland. I put that down to us just being so defensively good this season, this game.
No,
and in actual fact, right,
yeah.
this might be a little bit of a wild take for people, especially, you know, the big, let's just say, not Arteta sexuals, but the top gooners, as Lee would probably call them, right? But I personally think Timber is better in that left-back role than Alexander Zinchenko. Because not only can he do what Zinchenko does, but he is also defensively sound as well. He knows that his primary role is to defend. And we look so much more comfortable with that back line today. Whereas if we was playing Zinchenko in that role, I think we would have got exposed a lot more down the left-hand side.
I also think we'd have probably created more chances if Zinchenko was in that role. I think Timber is definitely better defensively. However, I don't think he's better going forward. Yes, he can bring the ball going forward, but the line cutting passes, the link up between him and Odegaard, it's not going to be the same with Zinchenko. Now, I agree. I think moving forward or later on in the season, if we're going to play against the cities, if we're going to play against, everyone keeps using the Madrids and the Champions League, but if we're going to play against the more gifted teams attacking wise, Timber has to be in that back line, because he can give us that versatility. So we're more secure at the back. However, I think more chances will be created if it was Zinchenko in that role, simply because one, ball possession, like retained possession and cycling possession. I think Zinchenko is a master at that.
I think it's going to come down to, and I want to throw this out to Mo and the panel, horses for courses. Maybe when you're playing the Cities and the Liverpools and Man United away, you play Timber there. When you're up against teams that are going to sit back against you, then you give it to Zinchenko because you've got to break down those low blocks. So, like Sam, like you obviously you're a Liverpool fan, so you see this from that point of view. Is it just about picking the best team for the opponents in front of you rather than having a best 11?
I think with your team, like for you to be like the best team in the league, you need to have versatility, but also need to implement your style of play on everyone. I remember Mo saying this some time ago, that the best teams have their style of play and they implement that in every game. But it's great when you have players like Timber who can play left back, right back, centre back. And I believe Timber can even play a little bit of CDM. So just so that when you're playing against certain teams and the tactics, you know, they're either going to sit back or they're really going to pressure you or counter-attack, whatever. Arteta can slightly rejig it. However, this is my only caveat to all of this. As some people have said before, Arteta is quite stubborn. Would he, when he sees a team that he will usually struggle against, will he change it to a point where he's tactically trying to maneuver his way to get the win? I personally don't see it. I feel like Arteta needs to prove himself this season when it comes to that. But it does look slightly good for Arsenal. I will say with this Community Shield thing, I know I always throw out this banter. There's only one team that's won the Community Shield and gone on to win the league since 2011. But it is, for this game, it was psychologically, it was more of, I was listening to the players and the interviews, especially Ramsdale and Rice. They were saying that yes, after this they can see, okay, we can actually beat Man City. Now, whether that actually is implemented in the season is yet to be seen, but it does look good for Arsenal. Like defensively, you lot were brilliant. Saliba, I rate this guy. I rate this guy.
Listen,
you come up, go on, Mo.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed today is that Timber adds this extra element of quickness. He's everywhere, you know what I mean? And I like that. I like to see a player like this. It's a very dynamic player. But in my opinion, you cannot play Zinchenko at the moment when you have someone like Rice and Partey on the pitch, because Rice isn't Xhaka, is not going to be really, really high on the pitch. He's a little bit next to Thomas Partey. So you cannot have three players in that area. That doesn't add anything to the team, to be honest. That's why Timber suits Rice Partey system more, right? Now, if you're going to train Rice to be high, support the forward and do all the stuff, yes, I would like Zinchenko. I would like to see Zinchenko there because he inverts. He's a creative player. Timber isn't. The problem with me with Arsenal now is that I think they can do everything that they want, but Arteta has a lot of options. So sometimes he will overthink games. That's what I think is going to happen now. He's going to play Timber on the right, Timber on the left. Zinni comes back. Is it Partey? Is it Rice in the DM? Again, it's different teams. And I will echo what I said before many times. You need to have one style of play, and any player that comes in can play that style. Yes, you change it, but you only change it against Man City. That's all I
and listen, I think I agree with a lot of what you said there. On Saliba, I wanted to say, I thought he had an impeccable performance today. And he's still so young and going to get better and better and better. We often use this expression, Varane's been called this, Rio was called this, but he's like a Rolls Royce. It's just, he's got that power and speed, because Rolls Royces do. But you don't notice how quick it is, because it glides and does it with such ease and kind of, what's the word I'm looking at? Like, it's so debonair in terms of how it moves. And that's what he's like. It's like he's no effort in what he's doing, but it's brilliant. And elegant, that's a great word for it. And for me, again, as a rival watching, I'm looking at him and thinking, he's still young. He's probably 3 or 4 years from his peak. If he keeps working hard, if he keeps improving, Saliba, no doubt about it in my mind, could become the best centre-back in the Premier League, if not the world. He's that talented when you look at him, because he's good on the ball, great positioning, but he's got the athleticism and speed to go with it as well. When you have that as a combination in 2023, it's a dangerous combination. I want to ask another player as well, and I want to go to Jason on this. Odegaard really turned up today as well.
100%, yeah. Odegaard turned up today as well. So in terms of, he's basically continuing what he's done last season, adding in that extra creativity in the midfield, even last season and this season as well. I'm pretty impressed with his performance as well. Yeah, he turned up just like Saliba as well in the team today. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with him. I'm looking forward for seeing him this season as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. And David's here with us, obviously a rival tuning in to speak to us. What are you here to say, brother? Good to have you back on again. And look at them guns, boy. Man's in the gym. You can tell man's been in the gym.
Bro, I'm in the gym. I'm telling you, boys.
When David first started coming on here, he had pipe cleaners for arms.
Oh, honestly, no. Genuinely, my arms were so small back in the day. I don't know how I was walking around.
Wait, David, did Chelsea hurt you that bad that you had to hit the gym?
No, I've been I kid you not, the past 7 months, I ain't watched Chelsea games. Every time Chelsea's been on, I've just I was like, you know what, let me put my energy into something positive, because that wasn't positive last year. But no, I came on and I just came on to say that obviously everyone will do their predictions at some point, but for me today was like a good indicator between what I think will be the best 2 teams in the Prem, and I felt like Arsenal showed what they can be, and I felt like City kind of held back a little bit. I don't feel like the Alvarez-Haaland pairing really worked. I don't think they really could have created much with that pairing. But I thought Arsenal handled it very well. I know everyone's saying Saliba had a great game, but I don't think he had much to do. But I think that's a consequence of him just being very good and cutting off all the passes that could have gone to Haaland. But
do you feel like the defense was well structured as well?
I thought again, Timber I think is a really good signing. He does look very good. Zinchenko, I've always had my reservations on Zinchenko. I've had my reservations with Jesus, and I think we'll see what happens with both of those 2 players when Arsenal fans are screaming for them to be squad players. But I felt like your defense was very well marshaled, and when you started looking good after about 20-25 minutes was when as I've been saying for the past couple of months, Rice is playing as a DM. He's not an 8. He will not be an 8. He's never shown the capability to be an 8. So have him play his best position and have him be a 6. Partey does have the actual ability to be an 8. He does. He shows he's got he's a better dribbler, I feel like, than Rice. I feel like he's got a better instinct of what to do in those areas. But when Rice dropped in and he was starting to play balls and starting to get more involved in the game, you saw the maybe not 100 million, but definitely the high price that Arsenal are paying for him. That's what I felt like. That's what I felt like I saw from Rice today. When Rice went into the position of dropping back deep, that's when you saw the best Rice. And it was the.
You really think that Rice is more intelligent than Partey on dictating a game, leading a midfield from behind to be the number 8? Is that 6? I'm sorry.
I feel like you get more out of the both players when Rice is a 6 and Partey's an 8 than if you do it the other way around.
I completely disagree. I thought if Partey played an 8, you would lose that element of him physically being behind the midfield, protecting everybody. I think you got it completely. With all due respect, David, I think what you're referring to is how he plays for the England national team. Even at West Ham, he used to drift to the left. They used to play pivot with him and Souček, and he used to drift to the left. He wasn't the guy in front of the defense dictating the tempo of the game. Thomas Partey today, every time Arsenal tried to get out of the defense, it was Thomas Partey. You think maybe Arsenal later can be that, but at the moment, I don't think. I think you would lose that element of Arsenal game if you put Rice there.
I don't see how you get the best out of your £100 million signing by playing him out of position. That's my issue.
I agree with you, but that doesn't mean I compensate. Sorry, but that doesn't mean I compensate for the number 6. See, I get what you're saying, but if I compensate, if I force it, what you're asking Arsenal to do is force Rice to play the 6 just to get out, to get the best out of the 105. But I would rather play the best 11 each in the best. If Rice doesn't have a spot in this system, for 100 million, you create the best system for him, but do not compensate by taking Partey out of the equation. I think they would lose a lot in that midfield.
No, I'm not saying take Partey out of the equation. I'm saying play Rice and play. Tell Rice to mainly be in the 6 and tell Partey to mainly be in the 8. And if they have to swap around during the game, they can do. The good thing about this Arteta team is that they all have the ability to switch into multiple positions. However, that guy up front today, that ain't gonna work. And I'm telling you that now. That ain't gonna work today because it's Community Shield. And let's be honest, even though it's a trophy, none of you really care. He missed 2 chances. Oh no, what's the end of the world? But I'm telling you, when it's 1-1 and you need the guy to step up, and that guy's up front, you're gonna be shivering in your boots. You're gonna be scared.
I think people are being harsh.
Go ahead.
I think people are being harsh with Havertz's first.
I was saying the same thing
because the pass was a little bit behind him, and he had to swivel and try and shoot.
It got blocked.
I'm gonna ignore that. The second one I can understand. That's when this was Havertz from Chelsea. He was getting chances and he would just either hit straight at the keeper or completely miss the goal. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans do not rate him. Personally, for me, and I'm saying this as a neutral, I would rather start Nketiah. Because I know usually with Nketiah, he's not really a good player, but he is quite clinical when it comes down to it. So who's more clinical? Who's more clinical? Nketiah or Havertz?
Again, we need to start.
I want to go to Brandon on that. Who would you start, Nketiah or Havertz up front?
Well, neither. Trossard.
Option 3, man. 100%. But we need to. All right, so we need to stop with the Nketiah is more clinical than Havertz. He is not clinical. We need to stop doing that. Like, it's the same thing where I was talking to Robbie on AFTV, where it's like, oh, he scored 1 goal in every 2 games. He scored 4 in 5 and then 1 in 11. We need to stop doing that. It's like the 2016 season with Giroud all over again. We've got to stop doing that. And if I'm gonna go back to the point where you were saying about the 6 and 8 with Rice and Partey. The 6 in Arsenal is probably one of the hardest positions to play in. I'm not gonna say in world football, but in the Premier League, because it's not just about defending; it's also about creating. Everything plays through the 6 before it even gets to Odegaard. It starts at the 6. To shoehorn Rice in that would just destroy everything if he's not up for it. But give him time there, sure.
Why is it being described as shoehorn when you've literally signed what English people, not English people, but what the Prem would say is probably one of their best 6s.
But you have to get used to it, and you're not. So why would you?
But how is it? You're putting a player who's played his position in his rightful position. I'm confused.
But
how
it's not the same position though. Playing that at West Ham or playing it at England, you're not doing the same things at Arsenal. You're not. You're required to do more, and you're required to do different things. So if he's going to learn, why force him to learn on the fly? And then when he makes mistakes in the biggest stages, then you highlight that he's not as good or makes mistake. You protect.
But Partey also makes mistakes in that exact same position.
Can I just say, right? I do slightly agree with David on this, and the reason why I say that is because is everybody forgetting that Arsenal were actually looking to sell Thomas Partey this summer. So if we had sold Thomas Partey this summer, Declan Rice would have been playing that 6th role. Like, are people forgetting that?
But that was a mistake, Brandon. We all agree.
I don't understand that argument.
I want to go to somebody's super chat.